In the heart of Manhattan, Alex Thompson stood before the mirror in his luxurious penthouse, adjusting his meticulously styled hair. The diamond watch that usually adorned his wrist lay forgotten on the marble countertop, alongside his wedding ring and cufflinks passed down from his father. Today, however, he had a different plan, one that would turn the tables on the very establishment he had built from the ground up. His restaurant, the Silver Spoon, had once been the epitome of fine dining, renowned not only for its exquisite cuisine but also for its warmth and hospitality. It had been a dream come true, a place where every guest felt valued and welcomed. But lately, Alex sensed that something was amiss. Despite the glowing reviews and the fully booked reservations, the soul of the restaurant felt lost, replaced by a cold, elitist atmosphere that his once passionate team seemed to embrace. "You've lost your mind," his wife, Emily, had said when he first shared his plan. But Alex knew that mystery diners were too predictable and that this required something bolder, something that would unveil the truth behind the facade his restaurant had become. Dressed in worn-out clothes he had picked up from a thrift store, baggy jeans, a faded t-shirt, and a jacket with frayed edges, Alex completed his disguise with a special effects makeup kit he had ordered online. He felt a mix of excitement and apprehension as he tucked a small recorder into his pocket along with a $100 bill. The plan was simple: slip in during the dinner rush, request a table, and see how his staff treated someone who didn't fit their usual clientele. The walk to the Silver Spoon took longer than expected. Alex was used to pulling up in his sleek Tesla and tossing his keys to the valet. But today, he shuffled along the sidewalk, keeping his head down and practicing a slight tremor in his hands. It was astonishing how people avoided eye contact and crossed the street to steer clear of him. As he made his way through the bustling streets, he noticed the stark contrast between his usual life and this new reality. When he finally arrived at the Silver Spoon, the restaurant buzzed with energy. Through the elegant windows, he could see the warm glow of candlelight and the graceful movements of servers gliding between tables. As he pushed open the heavy door, the familiar aroma of freshly baked bread and herbs enveloped him. But this time, it felt different, almost foreign. The once inviting atmosphere now felt suffocating. Thomas, the head waiter whom Alex had personally hired for his professionalism, greeted him with a practiced smile that faltered as he took in Alex's appearance. "Good evening, sir," he began, his discomfort evident. "May I help you?" "I'd like a table, please," Alex replied, trying to make his voice sound rough and uncertain. "I'm terribly sorry, but we're fully booked tonight," Thomas said, glancing nervously around the room. Alex could see at least 3 empty tables from where he stood. "Please," Alex pressed, pulling out the $100 bill. "I just want one meal. I can sit anywhere." Before Thomas could respond, a sharp voice sliced through the ambient chatter. "Is there a problem here?" It was Daniel, the head chef, his pristine whites contrasting sharply with his icy demeanor. "This gentleman was hoping for a table," Thomas explained, his discomfort palpable. Daniel's eyes narrowed as he scrutinized Alex from head to toe. "Sir, this is a fine dining establishment. Our tasting menu starts at $250 per person, and that's before wine pairings," Daniel said, a hint of disdain in his voice. "We have a dress code and a reputation to maintain. The nearest soup kitchen is just 6 blocks east. I suggest you try there." Several diners had paused to watch the unfolding scene, some looking embarrassed, while others nodded in agreement with Daniel. A young server, clearly wanting to intervene, turned away when Daniel shot her a glance. "I have money," Alex said softly, still holding out the $100 bill. "I just wanted to try the food I've heard so much about." Daniel's laughter was cold and biting. "What, from reading our reviews in the newspaper? You sleep under a bridge?" He turned to Thomas. "Call security if he doesn't leave immediately. Then we need to discuss our door policy again." At that moment, Alex felt a surge of indignation. He could have revealed his true identity but chose to walk away instead. As he exited, he felt Daniel's satisfied smirk burn into his back. This wasn't just about the test, he realized he was witnessing something far worse than he had anticipated. The Silver Spoon, his dream, had morphed into an elitist establishment he had vowed never to run. As he stood in the shadows behind the restaurant, trying to process what he had just experienced, a soft voice emerged from the darkness. "Hey, wait up." Alex turned to see a young man in kitchen whites rushing toward him. "I'm so sorry about what happened in there," he said, glancing nervously over his shoulder. "I'm Miguel." "Daniel, he wasn't always like this." Miguel thrust a brown paper bag into Alex's hands. "Please take this." The warmth radiating from the bag was comforting. Inside, Alex found a perfectly plated portion of the Silver Spoon's famous short rib, complete with truffle mashed potatoes and roasted vegetables. "This must have cost you a fortune," Alex said, surprised. Miguel shook his head, a sad smile on his lips. "I'm the prep cook. I've been here 3 years. I always make a little extra, just in case something goes wrong during service. But really, it's for people like you. Daniel doesn't know, he'd fire me if he found out." As Miguel spoke, Alex felt a knot tighten in his throat. This young man embodied the spirit of hospitality that had vanished from his restaurant. Miguel explained that his grandmother had raised him on the principle that a meal was about dignity and compassion. With each word, Alex felt more resolved. He needed to know what had happened to his restaurant, to the people who had been mistreated under Daniel's regime. Over the following days, he donned various disguises, uncovering the hidden layers of cruelty that had taken root in the Silver Spoon. He discovered that Daniel had been manipulating food costs, substituting premium ingredients with cheaper alternatives while pocketing the profits. Employees feared speaking out, knowing Daniel would retaliate. Yet, amid this darkness, a network of compassion thrived. Staff members found ways to support one another, sharing tips and resources to fight back against the toxic environment Daniel had cultivated. The more Alex learned, the heavier his heart became. He would sit in the park nearby, watching people who had been turned away from his restaurant, and he couldn't shake the feeling of guilt. He had built this place with dreams of bringing joy to others, yet now it felt like a fortress of exclusivity. Finally, Alex devised a plan. He would host a dinner for those who had fallen on hard times, inviting them to experience the true essence of the Silver Spoon. He envisioned a night where the restaurant's original spirit could shine through, filled with laughter, warmth, and genuine connection. When the night arrived, he concealed his identity, watching as guests arrived, former professionals, veterans, and families who had struggled but maintained their dignity. As they entered, Alex felt a sense of purpose swell within him. He wanted them to know that they were valued and welcomed, regardless of their circumstances. Daniel's reaction was explosive. He attempted to eject the guests, insisting that they did not belong in his restaurant. But Miguel stood firm, proclaiming their right to be there. In a moment of clarity, Alex revealed himself, exposing the truth about Daniel's schemes and the restaurant's original mission. The room erupted in applause as Alex declared, "Tonight's dinner is on the house for everyone." The Silver Spoon was no longer a place of exclusivity but a sanctuary of community and compassion. The guests were overwhelmed with gratitude, and as they shared stories, laughter filled the air, weaving a tapestry of connection that had long been forgotten. In the following weeks, Alex worked tirelessly to restore the restaurant's values. He promoted Miguel to head chef, reinstated employees who had been unjustly terminated, and implemented open-door policies for staff concerns. The restaurant transformed, becoming a hub of kindness and inclusivity, where every meal nourished not just the body but the soul. As the months passed, the Silver Spoon became a beacon of hope in the community. Alex established programs to support local shelters, offering cooking classes for children and hosting free dinners for families in need. The restaurant began collaborating with food banks, ensuring that excess food went to those who needed it most. On a sunny afternoon, as Alex walked through the bustling streets of Manhattan, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. He noticed the community coming together, and he knew that the silver spoon was making a difference. The faces of those who had once been turned away now filled his restaurant, each one carrying a story of resilience and hope. Months later, Alex stood in the Silver Spoon, now filled with laughter and diverse voices. Gone were the pretentious decorations, replaced by local artwork and a warm atmosphere. The restaurant had become a model of what fine dining could be: accessible, welcoming, and rooted in community. As the evening service began, Alex watched the staff interact with guests, feeling a sense of pride wash over him. He saw Miguel engaging with the young cooks, teaching them not just about food but about the importance of compassion in their work. The Silver Spoon had indeed returned to its roots, and its mission was clearer than ever: to bring people together, one plate at a time. One day, as Alex was finalizing plans for a charity event, he received a call from a prominent food critic. The critic had heard about the transformation at the Silver Spoon and wanted to come in for a review. Alex felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. He knew that this was a chance to showcase the restaurant's new ethos. The night of the critic's visit arrived, and Alex ensured that every detail was perfect. He wanted to create an experience that went beyond just food. He wanted to convey the spirit of community that had become the heart of the Silver Spoon. As the critic dined, Alex watched from a distance, hoping to see his vision come to life. After the meal, the critic approached Alex with a smile. "This is more than just a restaurant," he said. "You've created a movement. I can taste the love and compassion in every bite. This is what fine dining should be." The following week, the review was published, praising the Silver Spoon for its commitment to inclusivity and community engagement. The restaurant's reputation soared, attracting new patrons eager to experience its unique atmosphere. As Alex looked around the bustling dining room, he felt a profound sense of gratitude. The Silver Spoon had not only revived its mission but had become a symbol of hope and connection in the heart of the city. The journey had been challenging, but every obstacle had led him to this moment, a moment where food was not just sustenance but a bridge connecting people from all walks of life. With renewed determination, Alex knew that the real work was just beginning. He was committed to maintaining the spirit of inclusivity and kindness, ensuring that no one would ever feel unwelcome in his restaurant again. And as he stood there, watching his team serve with pride and compassion, he realized that the Silver Spoon was no longer just a restaurant, it was a revolution in hospitality, one plate at a time.